Hey folks, it's Babbaginator. We're back in Long Dark. Currently hanging out here in... Let's see how this is working. Okay. That one's a little bit delayed. So, finally figured out what was going on with my YouTube stream. Why it hasn't been actually broadcasting to YouTube at all. So it turns out I was forgetting to do something important that allows it to connect to YouTube. So even though I was clicking on, stream to all the sources, or all the destinations, I didn't realize I had to have YouTube Studio open as well. So now, hopefully, in the future, we will be able to see that. Yeah, so here we are. We're in Forlorn Muskeg for 10 days. And so we got right in the middle, rolled half. And we have stuff. We have things that are curing. Things that have already cured. We probably want to grab some birch bark while we can. Look at all the meat we brought in too. Okay, so let's do a quick run through here, pick up sticks and pick up birch bark. So we're not going to get a moose here, it looks like. The things we want to do while we're here. We do want a chance to hunt the bear. Okay, we are moving along. Let's see, let's do a little bio for myself in case people are curious, and we'll do a little challenge here to explain what we're doing. We're doing something called Roll With It, which is a challenge we've yet to beat, and it keeps getting more complicated. One thing I'm considering is whether or not we want to go to Bleak. Or go straight in Broken Railroad. At this point, it's not going to really matter, since either way, we will end up arriving late enough that we're just going to be rolling D10s for any transition zone. Ooh, let's see what we got here. Oops. Hey, Rena. Are you on vacation yet? Oops. Oops. Come on.
The cold is making my head feel thick.
I had a pretty quiet day. The worst part of the day was going to Costco. And due to a rather foolish mistake on my part, what was supposed to be a $2 parking experience turned out to be a $90 or an $86 parking fine. Because I missed the place where you're supposed to validate your parking before you go into the Costco. And because this was downtown Vancouver, and the parking enforcement stuck me with a $86 parking fee. Yeah. So I felt like that kind of undid whatever savings I was supposed to get out of that experience. That really soured me to kind of ruined the day. So, and then the rest of the day I just vegged at home and watched anime, which I haven't done for a long time. I keep telling myself it could have been worse. Not much worse, but it could have been worse. I didn't come back with an accident, right? Like, I didn't get hit. The car didn't get hit. You know, had some other hiccups, but for the most part, you know, got out of there. And it just kind of cemented how frustrating it is to, you know, how much I just would prefer to camp out in, you know, on campus and not go anywhere. Oh, what did I watch? I watched a series called, trying to remember what it was called. Hold on a second. Let's see if we bring it up here. Um, okay, so what did I watch earlier today? I watched, it was called... It was an isekai, because that's what I tend to watch a lot these days. And if I can... Oh, it was called, the English title is A Playthrough of a Certain Dude's VR MMO Life, which is a terrible title. And really what it is this guy starts up a MMORPG account with the intent to just relax. And so he deliberately chooses all his skills, his class, everything about himself to be not desirable, so that people will not want to ask him to group up and to do things. And everything is like the least efficient sort of configuration of things. In his mind, he selected the worst possible skills in class, with the hope that he will just be left alone. Instead, what happens is that he inadvertently has stumbled onto the perfect configuration of substandard skills that then grow together and become more and more powerful. So he ends up becoming, for all his efforts not to become a celebrity within the world, he has become a celebrity within the world. And he ends up making friends. And it's, it's kind of a generally a feel good one. But yeah, it's so that yeah. Anyways, it's I've read the manga before and quite liked it because and I feel like it's an early enough isekai that it hasn't fallen into the standard tropes yet. It's kind of laying groundwork that later isekai kind of riff off of, but it's doing its own thing. So yeah, so that ended up being quite the enjoyable one. Then yeah, so I finished watching that, and then I did a little bit of work on a little off stream work on the on the Twine game, on the Into the Dark Woods game. But really, I'm just trying to solve a problem about how to handle directional description when navigating the labyrinth. I want to not reveal northwest, east, south. So instead, I want the description of the room to be oriented to wherever you just entered from, which means that like describing things on the left and the right will be relevant to where you came from, which means that I actually had to create, like each room has its own little array of information, a data map of information that it can look up. And then if you know where you came from, you pass it into a function and you pass the data map into the function, it will then spit out a new array of left, right, forward, so that you know what the corresponding rooms are that you're going to. But anyways, I'm still finishing up that. And in the process, I kind of changed my mind about like how complicated that last or labyrinth is going to be. So I did add a second level. It's not terribly complicated, but there is a second level. And I moved a couple rooms down to be on the second level as well. And with room for expansion if I want to kind of add a little bit more stuff in there. But I have a general, sort of top level and then next level down thing. And who knows, maybe if I get really ambitious, I'll add a third level and then it's just like even bigger as a challenge. But I also have to figure out like what exactly am I doing there to make it interesting, yeah. Standard problems. Oh yeah, there's different. So the big thing that I changed, right, was like before it was random. The rooms were randomly distributed each time you played through. But I realized that it just made it more frustrating for people because they didn't know. Like, they couldn't count on things. I don't know. It was like, I thought it was going to be a fun feature, and instead it's just an annoyance for people. So I decided to make it not randomly distributed. It gives me a little bit more control over how I describe things related to each other, as well as, what you can hear or what you can sense from one space to the next space. Because if I do know how things are connected, then I can say, like, off in the distance you hear a bell ringing. And I know, based on my map, where that is. Yeah. And in fact, if that's, if I get the directional description thing working, I could even have it handle sort of like that type of information about, if, if this room is to your left, then that means that the bell ringing sound must be coming also from the left, but further in the distance, right? But if that room is now on your right, then the bell ringing sound would be described as coming from far to the right. So, and it would just create a little bit more immersive experience. Yeah, directional stuff. Yeah. Okay. We are still early. Not quite time to sleep. for sticks. $16 now. Okay. Yeah, it's very gusty. Ah. How bouncy they are? I don't think I knew how bouncy they were. Oh, we got our last piece of birch bark. Ooh, look at that.
Think of fire. Think of hot fire.
This is a terrible angle. If we miss, the arrow just sails off into nowhere. Ha! I got him. Two. We got two of them. Not going to see the other one. It's too fast. Yep. No way to get higher? What do you mean?
Starting to feel numb.
This place is like really safe because there are no predators that get up here, so this is a really good safe place to make a home base. And last stream, so that would have been Sunday night, we exited exited the basin with a huge load. Oh, look, there's a deer here too. I didn't think we were going to get a deer. We already killed the deer here, so pleasantly surprised to see a new deer. Got to be really close here. Okay, you just gotta stop somewhere. Yeah, like that. Figures. Got spooked. No, he's gotta come back. We need him to come down. Otherwise, if he dies on the hill, we can't build the fire. Moved. So we shoot him right now, that's completely useless because we can't get him if he dies up there. Needs to come down. But that's insanely steep. There's no way we could build a fire up there. Come on, you can come further down the hill.
The sun is setting. It's gonna get a lot colder soon.
Yeah, figures.
This pack is getting too heavy.
We're
to
too
carry.
close. We need them to believe that we are gone. We're no longer interested in him.
One little fire.
Okay, we're gonna sit here and cook up our ptarmigans. are you, dear? It's a clear night. In theory, we could still be hunting in this. There he is. Yep, these two spooks. Well, we'll look for him in the morning, see if we can get a better angle on him. Okay, fire has officially decided to quit. So we got the 2 ptarmigan, but we did not get the deer. So we're not short on food. It's just would have been nice to keep leveling up our archery. Oh, that's what we should have done. We should have pulled some fire-hardened arrows of the fire with the remaining time. Okay. So were you working today, or did you have vacation already? Vacation starts Friday. Okay, we need some more cloth. One more piece of cloth. And we can make our stuffed bedroll, which would be pretty awesome. Well, we haven't done as much singing. We have, I think, one more singing thing coming up on Sunday. Actually, we don't want to. Okay, what do we got here? Get a solo. Wow. I think our choir director is out sick. Late in her pregnancy, so I'm not certain if she's going to be back, or if she's just going to give birth. And so I think our number on Sunday may have to go without a choir director. And we've not had a lot of practice for it because she's been out. Yeah, we need a lot more cloth. I think we should try our luck. I'm going to take the bedroll to be on the safe side. Do a repair. Yeah, we really desperately need the Okay, once again, we're going to try to see if we can find that bear. Well, the bear was bugged immediately after the update, and so bears did not show up in this region or in Broken Railroad, which was going to be a big problem since we need one more bear hide to make a bear coat. It's either that or we make a wolf coat. Now, even if we get a bear hide down, it's not going to be cured in time before we have to leave this region. So it means we're going to have to craft the bear hide coat in Broken Railroad, provided we roll a long enough stay. There's a possibility we simply don't get that bear coat, which would kind of suck, because if we go on to the Forsaken Airfield, it is really, really cold. So how are we doing right now? We are currently sitting on day 116, which means we've made it one day and we have 9 days left. 9 days left in this region. We need to find bear. Okay, let's see. Where are you, Mr. Bear? Could be a bear over there. Maybe. Summon bear. I don't want the bear too close. But the bear, poacher's bear, as buggy as it tends to be, is a good one for us.
Gotta warm up somehow.
Just see tree stumps. I don't see a bear. Wolves. Okay. Enjoy your tofu.
It's goddamn freezing.
I think we'll warm up our teas here. Yeah, the bear has a particular path.
Fire.
Okay. Already? That was fast. Yeah, well, the last few days have been pretty lazy. I watched the first 3 episodes of the second season of Reacher. I watched, what else did I watch? I watched a Korean comedy action film called Unstoppable, which is actually not too bad. I rewatched Casino Royale, Daniel Craig's entry into taking on the role of James Bond from, can you believe that was like 2006? And what else did I watch? I watched a few other things, so. Okay. Yeah, I'm way behind in watching Doctor Who. I stalled out somewhere in the... I think when they picked up the first female Doctor, I think I got stalled with other life stuff and I just didn't get around to watching the series. Wolf. Oh, there's the bear way over there. Kind of late in the day, though. We take on the bear. Pick a fight with the bear. Yeah, those are good ones. Let's see if this still works. Hopefully this still works. Is that a hit? That was a miss. We missed. Yep, that was a miss. Way over there. We chase him down again. Oh, there he is. There we go. Go bleed out. We'll hunt you in the morning. I think we'll go hang out at this one. We'll go to the cave over here. Probably the closest one. But especially since the wind is picking up here, that's no good. Not certain if we're going to run into any wolves. No, I saw at least one of them respawn, so I just don't know if all his buddies are back.
I've never felt so cold in my life.
Yeah, I'm hoping that bear turns around and comes back to his lair on this side, then he'll just die somewhere on this stretch. Which is why we're going to the cave on this side. Yeah, the second shot was a good shot. It went right in his face, but because we don't have archery 5 yet, it's not a crit. Whereas I think if we had archery 5, that might have killed him. And here's our favorite little cave. Look, we even remembered to leave ourselves some food just in case we needed it. How smart was that? It's like, welcome to the Airbnb. Okay, let's see what we got here.
Come on, little fire.
Okay. We don't need all this. Okay, I think we're good to go. Hey, welcome into Weevil. Ooh. Welcome in, Weevil. I probably should do some shout outs here.
Ooh, yeah, we found one. Oh my god, I've never been so fucking happy. Let's go.
The run is going well. We just shot a bear, it ran off, but it's critically injured and probably should be dead now. Let's see. Was Bear 3 dead? Bear 3 is dead. So we've got our third bear. Okay. Yeah, so you have 2 hockey jerseys. You're ready to start a team. Yeah, in this run we just have the 1 hockey jersey, and because of the bear bug, we were delayed in finding a bear to hunt for our second bear hide to make a bear coat. So we finally shot and killed, apparently, the third bear. Now we need to track down this bear and at least harvest the hide off of the bear, if not, like, other stuff. Let's see if it clears up a little bit. I don't know. This amount of fog, we will not find the bear. We should probably wait a little bit until it clears. Yeah, so we want this third bear. We do have the travois, so we can haul around a bunch of meat when we do find the bear and harvest it. Some of the wolves are back. They've already started to respawn, but we killed most of the wolves on our previous visit. Okay, I don't know if it's going to get much better than this. We'll see if we can find the bear. Oh, we've got a wolf. Do we want a wolf? I guess we're going to take out the wolf anyways. Yeah, he wants to play. Ah, why did you turn? Trying to make my life miserable. No, he's just trying to find a blind spot to attack us. Where are you at, Mr. Wolf? I don't know. Wolves are a little bit more picky now. It's so frustrating. It's like you can't quite get them to... right in the butt. They're running off with all our good arrows. Might have to go forge some more. Oh, to be honest, I'd rather forge in Broken Railroad. So. Oh, except for our hammer is currently sitting here in... Oh, this is no fun. Now it's gotten foggy again, so we can't even see where we want to go. Frustrating. It's just a trap. If I go out there, I will get lost in that fog and not find my way back. So we're not hurting. We have lots of cattails on us, so we don't have to worry about starving or losing our well-fed bonus. Now we have a wolf and a bear to find. Really nice. We'll make the extra arrows we need.
Come on, little fire. Come on.
Hey, gamers and games. Welcome in. Our shoutouts not playing? Oh, there it is. What exactly is happening with that clip? Oh, weird. These guys we can all break down. Wow, just foggy. That's all we get. Fog. I really want to harvest that bear, but we can't find the bear. Not in this fog. There's a little break. We step out and see if we can find anything. Not quite as foggy, but see if we can spy anything. We're not going to harvest anything, but ourselves ready. Ooh. Okay, we hear the crows. We know there's a carcass here already. Okay, this is the dead guy. I just want to know where the wolf and the bear are, so we can go harvest them. So I have a tiny window of time to kind of scour this area. We got wolves over there.
Feels like night is coming.
Yeah, we better hurry back here. So we're not seeing anything immediately by the den. Peek up this side, see if we can see anyone over here. See where the crows are. Well, stars are out. Can't find the crows. Too late for crows. Okay.
Did I say I hate being cold? Because I really do.
And here comes the wind.
Do I, if I don't warm up soon?
Okay. EG. Yeah, roll with it, definitely, Liz. Forlorn Muskeg. I think the plan is to go... We got a bear here, but we don't know where he dropped, because we got hit with a blizzard afterwards. It was late, and we got hit with a blizzard, so we got separated from the bear. We think the bear died before despawning, but we're not positive. So I'm hoping the bear carcass somewhere out there. Haven't seen it yet. And when we went out to go looking for it, we ended up running into a wolf, and we had to kill the wolf, and the wolf ran off with our arrows, so we've got now a wolf and a bear to hunt down. Yeah. Where did I shoot him? I shot the bear on the tracks. Just off of the tracks. And so... yeah, so there's a chance that he ended up back at the train cars. It is true, you can do that. You can map to find carcasses if the weather's good, if you've got good visibility. Obviously it doesn't work if you've got no visibility. Then you don't get the benefit. But it is a strategy you can use, and I might have to do that. Speaking of which, we might just do that. Prepare for that eventuality. Ooh, we are desperate to get cloth, which is another reason why I think we're going to Broken Railroad. Just because we can get a lot of cloth out of the hunting lodge. do all sorts of repairs. See what visibility is like here. It's not bad. Still kind of early. Why do I feel like the wind's about to kick in? It just feels like trouble. Watch. I will wait. I will just test my luck here. I will wait an hour. And either it'll clear up, or it'll be a storm. It cleared up. Okay. Well, still likely to turn into a storm here. I'm wondering if we map from the top here, will we be able to get a survey that tells us where the carcass is. Doesn't this feel like we're going to get into a blizzard again? Feels like a blizzard. No sign of the carcass.
Oh, so cold.
Oh, okay, we got a request for music. Okay, let's see here. Just dropping papers all over the place. Okay, so one of our holiday traditions on this channel is I have a number of holiday songs, Christmas songs I have rewritten for TLD. And I apologize because some of the scanning and rhythm's a little rough, but hey, it works, sort of. Okay, so this is Let It Snow. Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since I've got plenty of coal, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. It doesn't show signs of stopping, and the bunnies outside aren't hopping. With the Aurora wolves all aglow, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When I finally run out of fuel, I'll hate going out in the cold. But if the RNG's really cruel, I'll meet a bear who's a little too bold. It looks like the fire is slowly dying, and my deer hides are still not dry yet. But as long as I'm crafting a brand new bow, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When I finally step into the night, I'll hate going out in the storm. But a bear will probably grab me tight, then it'll be too late to be warm. So it looks like I'm slowly dying, my guts and blood are flying. But I've made it to Trapper's so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Yeah, like I said, apologies, it's a little rough. But you asked for punishment, so there you go. Hey, thank you. Thank you for the... Hey, that's right. I guess we get a little bonus from holiday season. Thank you, Rena, for the bits, and thank you, Twitch, for the added bonus. Much appreciated. Okay, so we will pop back in here. Try to figure out. It's a little off key. I apologize. It totally is a little off key. And definitely rhythmically, you know, in terms of syllables, it's a little bit off too. But it is what you get. Okay, we've got wolves around here. Should we just deal with the wolves that we get? More wolves we deal with, the fewer we have to worry about. I'll find out if you can cross through this. I really wish these guys would be cooperative. Instead, they keep running away with my arrows. I think this is going to force me to do a forge. I don't like this, but... That one worked. That's inexplicable. Why does one work and the other one doesn't? Shoot him in the butt, he falls over and dies. Shoot the other guy in the face, he doesn't die.
Come on, little fire.
Okay. Still midday. I mean, if this weather would let up, we'd be fine. Okay. We don't need the hide. Got lots of wolf hides. Man, I really wish we could figure out where the bear is, but this weather is just not cooperating. Guess we could run along the tracks and see if we find him there. But yeah, we're going to get no clues from crows. Not with the wind and the fog. Oh, the fog's going away. That's good news. I feel like we're going to get just more cold, though. Once again, we'll leave some meat behind, just in case we need it. We'll travel fairly light, hopefully with no scent, little scent. And, okay, now we got, if it wasn't so windy, we could probably find crows. It might be too windy for crows. So I think what we'll do is we'll head all the way out this way, and then work our way down the tracks towards Poachers, hoping to see something, some indication of where the bear went. Top priority is to get the bear hide. Everything else is secondary. Got lots of meat still. Lots of cattails. Oh, there's the wolf. Okay, so we found one wolf. We can just figure out where the bear is. We'll be set. 5.5. This guy's a big guy.
Come on. Make a fire. Make a hot.
No. Tempting. But we need to get going. Okay, so what we will do is we'll do this. We will warm up teas here. That's all. Maybe we'll carve a couple pieces of meat.
Come on, little fire. $48. Even if all we do is leave the meat behind. Oh, that's good. 1.
Yeah, a little bit of a wind, but it is doable here.
I'm not gonna be able to carry this load for much longer.
Uh-oh. Okay, we're running low on time here. Quick scan. See if we're any close to figuring out where the bear is. Did the bear die in the tracks? Yep, here we go. Is that just a tree stump?
I can barely walk with this much gear.
Tree stumps, not seeing bear. Still not seeing the bear. Oh, is that the bear on the tracks? No crows. Don't think it is. It's just the tracks. Okay, I think we're gonna stash some meat here. In case we ever get stuck here. Take this. Is that the bear? Up there? Or is that a rock? It's just a rock. I'm starting to get really disappointed in the number of times we have shot bears and not been able to find the carcass. Yep. Not on the tracks. So where did the bear go? Bear's not here.
Sure getting cold.
I don't know. If we can't find it on the next day, I think the bear is gone. And that sucks. Because once again, we couldn't find the bear. These bears, too good at hide and seek. How's it going? It's not too bad, except for we shot and killed the bear, and we may have lost the bear either to despawn in the blizzard, or we just can't figure out where the bear dropped. So that's the problem when you don't have Archery 5. Things don't necessarily drop when you shoot them. They just run off. And we got 2 arrows into the bear and he just took off. Now we have no idea where he is. He was on the tracks and then he ran off. So I really was hoping to get that bear so I could get another hide down and be on my way to getting a bear coat. But it's looking increasingly like, once again, we're not going to get the bear hide and we're going to end up leaving the region without a bear coat. So we still have Broken Railroad.
It's so cold.
Well, we'll probably have to make a trip over to the other side to Spence's to do another forge, I think. If we keep losing arrows, then we may just need the extra arrowheads. And I left my hammer. I think I left my hammer at the forge, so. But other than that, it's not too bad. We're well fed. We could forge in BR if we brought the hammer with us, but the hammer's sitting at the at Spence's, so we have to make a trip to Spence's anyways. Besides which, we probably should cross the ice and see if we can find the bear that way. But yeah, I mean, originally I was thinking, oh, I'll just forge in Spence's, and then I was like, oh, I don't have the hammer on me. I'm going to have to go to Spence's to get the hammer. So we don't necessarily have to forge at Spence's, but we do have to visit there to get the hammer. Okay. Let's go through the cave and restock our coal. I don't think we've done that on this visit yet. Let's see, 875. Look, there's even more meat over here. Got meat everywhere. Okay, this time, hopefully the coal will have respawned. One. Hey, thanks for the sub, Vanderwagon. Much appreciated. Hope you enjoy the new emotes and added benefits. Guess you can get ad-free. And yeah, some fun emotes that we've been working on. Some of them come from Prof. Neil. Some of them I have put together myself. What else we got here? Anything else? Yeah, so how's it going, Vanderwagon? Let's see, let's do some shoutouts here. Shout out for Vanderwagon. Oh, I guess not streaming. And is there anyone else we've missed? There's Aggressor. I don't know if you stream as well. Oops, too quickly. Let's see, give a couple seconds and then try again. Okay. Yeah, overall this is not bad. We are considering another forge. Wish wolves and bears would stop running away with our arrows. Some of them we've been able to recover, and some... We've got 2 bears so far that we've shot at some point, and have since lost the... lost the carcasses, so we have no idea where they are. Okay. So you just started the survival after doing story mode? Yeah, story mode's a good way to get introduced to a lot of the different mechanics and systems of the game. Yeah, great way to get used to the systems of the game, and get a better sense of the world. Okay. Okay. We need more water. Oops. No. Stop being so temperamental. Come on, Astrid. Not the end of the world. We're here. You're in the back. So yeah, we're not going to starve. Our biggest problem is that we want a bear hide so we can get a second bear hide cured and we can build a bear coat. But so far that has not happened. Even though we've killed 3 bears, we've only been able to recover 1 bear hide. And the other 2 bears just remain elusive. Yeah, I think the story is more concerned with getting you through the regions, helping you understand the regions, helping you understand the mechanics, and like giving you a story, right? Obviously, it wants to create some sort of story for you. Those are the priorities. Survival is kind of secondary. You know, it's basically survival that most people can do. And then the challenges are, you know, step up the difficulty. Are a good place if you found like the story too easy, start doing some of the challenges and they might teach you some other things. And then, but I also find like just doing the different difficulty settings, each of them offers a different type of challenge. Loot and inventory control is a big problem for Pilgrim and Voyager, and even to some degree Stalker at some point, like about, you know, after about 20 days on Stalker, if you're traveling around a lot, you really start having like no issues with matches, and like a lot of other stuff is still, if you can get around in the first 50 days in Stalker, you're going to get so much loot. And an interloper, suddenly things get a lot more scarce, and you don't start with a baseline that is survivable. You just aren't set up for survival, so you have to fight to get all the pieces that you need to make it work. So I do find that is enjoyable. I started off in I played Story, and then I took a break and started playing Stalker. And I really enjoyed Stalker a lot for quite some time. I played maybe about 750 hours in Stalker. And then I started watching people streaming on Twitch who were doing Interloper and Nagoa. And I started thinking about, like, you know what? I've tried Interloper once or twice and failed abysmally. Maybe it's time for me to give it another shot. Because I feel like Stalker was starting to get to the point where it was a little too comfortable. So I wanted to try something different. And Interloper was a steep learning curve for me. It was not easy to get past the first 10 days. Yeah, I think, you know, some people have asked if Hinterland's going to add in a compass item. I don't think they will. I think the whole point is that you are lost and disoriented and have to learn how to navigate based on landmarks and memory, you know, and that's just normal. That's what it's like out there. It's like you come up with your own tricks for figuring out like how to get around. But a lot of it is like identifying landmarks that you can move towards, and then using those landmarks to find the next landmark to aim towards, and that's how you move around. Yeah, custom is a good compromise if you have certain aspects, certain difficulty settings that you like, but you miss having certain things. Like, let's say you really like the difficulty of interloper, but you miss having a gun. Then gunterloper is a solution, you know, and then you just have, you know, guns are possible in the world and there's limited ammo. And you try it that way. Or you can do things like you can make it basically stalker, except for there are no guns in the world, and you play with just a bow. So it's a little bit friendlier in terms of loot, but you don't have any guns available. So, or you can say, I want to play, you know, a challenge where it is always nighttime, and I don't know why you would do that to yourself, but it is doable. And you can play always nighttime. Blizzards happen like 95% of the time. It's like, okay. Let's see, our gear is all in good condition. High Timberwolf Swan? Oh, no, not for me. I will pass on that one. More Pure Guts. Okay, let's see. What needs repair? Well, we could fix this guy. Just wish we had more cloth. Fix our deer pants, can't we? Yeah, we can. Mending 4. We're at Mending 4 now. Might as well fix this one too. Okay. Now we have a little bit more protection, but... Okay, so it's after... Let's see, it's about time for me to wind down. 119. So we've got 6 days left. Yeah, so our plan is to go to Broken Railroad. Then we want to go to Transfer Pass, Forsaken Airfield, Zone of Contamination. Apparently there's a cave that'll take us through. If we can find it, we'll try it. That might be a disaster, but we'll try it. And then Transfer Pass back to Broken Railroad FM. Then we'll go to Bleak. And then we will work our way back to Keeper's Pass and Black Rock to close off. So that's the plan. So yeah, so this is where we're at. We are good in terms of food. We are annoyed because we can't find that other bear, and we are... How are we doing? We have 1 arrowhead here, and we have 17. So we could have 18 arrows, but I would really like to pick up a few more arrowheads. So I think we will probably... We got 1 piece of metal here. We might try to make, you know, a couple more arrowheads. Get back over 20 again. But I think we'll save that for next stream. We might read a poem to wrap up here. I think that's what we'll do. So day 119 is where we're at. That's our save. Okay. So if you are not familiar with this channel, I am a writer. I'm the author of 2 books of poetry, and I do read. I take requests, and I also read my own poems. So let's see what we got here. Let's go to our random poem chooser and see what we get. This is a poem called The Memory Theater. Okay, this is kind of an odd one. But I guess we can read it. It's not very TLD-like, I don't think. Hold on a second, let me get it up here. Okay, so this comes from my first book of poetry, The Lost Country of Sight, published by Anhinga Press in 2008, but winner of the 2007 Philip Levine Prize for Poetry. This poem begins with a quote from, let's see, writers in the, I guess you'd call it sort of the early modern period or Renaissance, well, let's see, Enlightenment period, I guess. This is Vigilus writing to Erasmus on Guido Camillo's Memory Theater. So this is a poem called The Memory Theater. And The Memory Theater was, I'll give a little background and then we'll talk about it afterwards. But The Memory Theater was this idea that Camillo had about how to aid people's memory. And he noted that people had an easier time of remembering things if they associated them with physical places. And so built an actual physical space that would have like a lot of divisions and a lot of like recognizable things in sequence that you could then associate different parts of the speech or different parts of the thing you were trying to remember with the actual physical space. And then what would happen is, like, if you needed to recall something, you would either mentally reimagine that space and walk through it, and it would trigger the memory of each of the things and each of the parts of the theater, or, you know, basically it was kind of like theater / gallery type space. But yeah, so instead of this being a conceptual thing, it was an actual physical space. So this is The Memory Theater. A matter of wood, these many boxes, icons, images, the assembly of which boggles the mind, or at least replicates a state of wonder, though the man stammering in Latin to Erasmus's correspondent claims the pen has claimed his tongue, rendered him speechless. Now the two of them, in the dark space between knowledge and completion, consider wooden gangways, 7, something about wisdom, one laying larger than the others. Will there be mirrors, the body its own sign, the eye is an oracle, clay vessels rest in the corner, the doors swing soundlessly without hinges, in the balconies, old men are playing chess, crows gather at the gates, shadows glisten like blackened silver coins pulled from the gutter, a trick of surfaces, pits counterfeit, the all too perfect gleam of teeth in winter. Oh, and I forgot to read the quote. So Vigilus writes to Erasmus and says, he calls this theater of his by many names, saying now it is a built or constructed mind and soul, and now it is a windowed one. Okay, so that's kind of it's a weird poem, I'll admit. But I was reading a lot about different mnemonic systems, different ways people were trying to aid artificially, in many respects, memory. And so this was one of the more elaborate physical structures that was built. And it really had like this wall of cabinets, and each cabinet had separate drawers, like a filing cabinet. And so, or not like like an old school card catalog in a library, have lots of little drawers with little things inside of them. And so, and you would just associate different parts of what you were trying to remember with each of these different boxes. And then you would be able to recreate it, if necessary, by walking back into that space, and it would trigger the memory. So anyways, I wrote about that because I found this really fascinating about how memory had become an actual physical space to explore, to imagine, to encounter in a very tactile way. So maybe I'll read something else that's a little bit less abstract, and we'll kind of wrap up with that. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's try this one. Sorry. Let's try this one. This is from my second book. We'll do List. This is a good one. I'm biased. I wrote these. So List, or this comes from Babbage's Dream, which is my second book of poetry. This one was published by Sundress Publications in 2017. And this one revolves around the history of computers, programming languages, and artificial intelligence. And it has a lot to do with Charles Babbage, a 19th century mathematician who designed, partially built, but never finished what would have been the first computer. And so if you stick around on this channel, you'll hear a lot more about Babbage. But we're going to read a poem called List, which is inspired by the programming concept or construct of a list. Which is an ordered set of data elements, each containing a link to its successor. List. Here is a strange symmetry, an awkward holding of hands, the march chain of gestures, how nothing begins without an arrow shot into the dark, without the movement of old trees, drunk in the wind unsettling themselves from the earth. A coordinated leaning and fall, or how men gather at the edge of a burning building, buckets in hand, passing along the gift of water to the mouth filled with flame, and how we erase ourselves in such moments, become mere machine, an assemblage of anonymous parts, a blur of arms, hands, heads, our eyes stinging with cinder and heat, and above us the articulate chaos of birds, turning in unison, unbound by wires, carried forward by whatever lurks in the imperceptible change in the air, and afterward how we take stock, everything a pile, an interrupted story, an unchecked name, a number to be verified, catalogued, inscribed in pen, or marked on a gravestone next to another and another. How what goes inside any container becomes invisible until it is spilled, until it is carried at last to its destination and opened, like a package sent from a world removed, how it might hold anything, an unpaired shoe, a handful of nails, a toy rocket, a series of lines, a bit of code written to burst into flower. Apologies, I forgot to check and see if that ad break had started, and it already started, so... Hey, thanks, Rena. Yeah, I really love Liszt myself. I love poems. When you write a poem or you write anything, I love it when you don't foresee the ending, where you are caught off guard by where the poem ends up going. And for me, that was definitely the case. Is like, as I started building this list, and really it's an associative list. It just, each thing is separated by a comma, and it builds on top of each other. Each accelerates or expands on an idea or takes it a different direction. They could, in some sense, be thought of isolated things, but at the same time, there's a type of narrative that's building. And it is this accumulation of things that kind of teaches us something about the world. And so it moves, I think, initially from these ways of talking about what a linked list is. An awkward holding of hands, a march chain of gestures. And then it becomes more metaphorical, even more metaphorical than that. Nothing begins without an arrow shot into the dark, which is really a void pointer. Without the movement of old trees drunk in the wind, unsettling themselves from the earth, this coordinated leaning and fall. And you can see like this cascading of links in a linked list. And then the bucket brigade, the chain of buckets, people passing along in a fire, is very much how we might traverse like a linked list. Things move in that particular way. And then somehow at the end, I was writing, it's this fire and this disaster, and then it's the aftermath. And it's almost like a plane crash in terms of all the things left over. And these are all interrupted stories, things that never get completed. And all that's left is a little piece of evidence of someone's life, and what it is. And then, these things then eventually accumulate into a series of lines, a bit of code written to burst into flower. Okay, so that's Hey, good to see you as well. Fidel. Thanks again for the cheer, for the bits, Rena, and thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. We're going to get ready to raid someone else, because it's starting to get late here, and oops, sorry, turned my own mic off. That was the wrong thing. So anyways, it's getting a little late here. I'm going to get ready to raid someone. Yeah, thanks for the prime tip, and thank you for the hydrate. Oh. Did you want a poem? I can throw in one more poem if people want one more poem before we go. Or I could read something from someone else, or I can read some prose. But thanks for the hydrate, Prime. Anyone have a last request before we wrap up and find someone to read? Assembly. Okay, one last poem. Okay, so this is towards the beginning of Babbage's dream. This is, I think, the second poem in the collection. Okay. Before each linked hymn of words is numbered and pared down to simple light, there lies another tongue, one sung in the dark recesses of the machine, one folded into a series of small commands to add, move, or shift one bit at a time until there's a call to jump, or the word itself becomes too much to hold, and the unseen registers, the tall stacks of memory, where all we've lost is forever being reborn. Thread-worn and hazy, every void is a symbol, a mnemonic, an address, a gesture towards home. What comes of all this breaking down, I do not know, but feel its heat with my ear against its plastic skin, the rugged start and hum of a hidden brain within this darkened frame, trying to make sense of a story it has already forgotten, trying to recall what little remains. So assembly is both a riff on assembly language, which is sort of like one of the lowest levels of language we can get to when we're talking about computer programming. You know, it's not quite down to zeros and ones, but this is assembly code, which is somewhat specific to each different microchip architecture. Is a slightly different. They're similar. They're very similar, but there's some slightly different implementations for that. But basically, the commands are really short. They're basically very simple. They're add, move, shift, and there's a few other things that and jump. And so really that's all it is there's very little that you can do. And so every more complicated command is reduced down to these series of simple commands. But the poem begins actually with an epigraph, with a quote that comes from the New Testament, from Acts 2, verse 8. And how hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born. And this is a reference to the day of Pentecost in the New Testament, where suddenly, the Holy Spirit descends upon this crowd of people that assemble, and they all start speaking in tongues, and yet somehow they all understand each other. And so I kind of like play off of that vision of this assembly or congregation of people, then having this miraculous translation take place, as also overlaying onto like computer assembly code. And thinking about that. And then another thing that's happening in here is, there's also like this whole reference to the word itself becomes too much to hold in the unseen registers. That's the term that we use for talking about the very short-term memory access that we use for quick calculations. There's register memory, then we got like random access memory, and so but the registers are like for very, very fast access to memory, and usually things are turning over very quickly in there. That whole division, by the way, of registers and then like longer term memory and then long-term storage, arguably you could point back to Charles Babbage for coming up with this division of labor, like having a central processing unit, having short-term registers, and having longer-term memory, and then having stored programs, whether in punch cards or some other form. That was all done by Charles Babbage in the 19th century. And when the 20th century computer scientists who were building the first modern digital computers were trying to figure out how to solve this problem of like, how do we build an architecture, divide up the labor for what a computer is going to do, they discovered that Babbage had already solved this 130 years ahead of them. And so they basically followed his instructions, his design, and they used it. So where they didn't have like these elaborate, mechanical structures and these columns of these columns of sort of numeric dials that were being used to store numbers, and had used they'd moved to a digital instead of analog system to do this. The basic division of labor and structure of the modern computer is still very much what Babbage had designed. So it's pretty wild. Yeah, it's just, I remember learning that, thinking that is absolutely wild that the digital modern computer uses like maybe about 80 or 90% of the architectural like division of labor that Babbage had come up with 130 years before. That it was that good of a design that it really hasn't changed much from his time. And it just goes to show he was right. He said, like, some future generation will prove me right that once built, this machine will change the world. And you know, that's definitely been the case. He just never got to see it. So, okay, let's figure out where we can go and who we can hang out with next. Let's see here. Let's see. We got let's see. Deadpool is BRB. Queen Clovers is doing stuff. How long creation? Silent. You know, I think it's been a while since we visited Silent. Mitchy Itchy. Okay, we should go visit Mitchy Itchy. It was a lot of fun. Okay, let's go visit Mitchy Itchy. Alright, so let's get this raid set up here. Alright. See if that works. Okay, let's get ourselves ready to head over. Thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure to be able to share poetry, to share our struggles in the TLD, in Forlorn Muskeg, where we are right now, and our hunt for the bear that does not appear. We killed him, and we can't find him. So we will try again next stream to see if we can locate that bear and get some of our arrows back. If not, we're going to go and forge at Spence's. So we'll see you all on the other side of this raid, and wish you all the best, and catch you again soon.